Okay.
Okay.
So, Mohan, do you want to kick off?
Sure, absolutely. So I welcome all of you guys to this Automation Day event. I'm Mohan, CK, Chief Business Officer heading the Digital IT Services business at Conneqt. And welcome you all. I see a good number of participants already joining in. And very special welcome to this Automation Day event to our esteemed customers of Conneqt and our partners and leaders from UiPath, and also to my colleagues who I joined from Conneqt. So we are going to have a very power-packed day today. It's a 1.5 hours, 1.5 hours session. That's about 90 minutes. And I'll have our Chief Executive Officer, Arjun Ramaraju, to kick off this event. So he will talk about this whole strategic partnership and a very special relationship we are having with UiPath and how this coming together will help define the future of automation in the Indian industry, right, in the context of India. And we'll also have Anil, who is the Managing Director and Vice President of UiPath India and South Asia, to also share his thoughts around automation and how it is shaping the industry today. So we'll then have Nitin Purwar, who is the industry practice leader for the banking industry from UiPath. He will touch upon the automation themes, value themes. He will talk about some of the successful automation journeys that we have seen for some of the leading banks and organizations in India in the last few years. We'll follow that with Rinoo, who is our Vice President, Digital Initiatives at Conneqt. He will share some of the customer success stories we have in terms of automation engagements we have driven with some of our customers along with UiPath. We'll follow this up with a roundtable discussion for 30 minutes. We're happy to have your questions. Please share all of your questions in the chat window. We'll put up those questions to the panel of speakers and go around, get their thoughts around the specific questions you might have in terms of the real life scenarios, the challenges you might be facing today in your automation journey. And then we'll wrap it up. So it's an hour and a half of this event. And without much further ado, I'll hand it over to Arjun to kick off this event.
Thanks, Mohan. Yeah. So, hello everyone. Warm welcome to all of you. It's a pretty exciting day for us at Conneqt today, and I would like to thank each one of you for taking the time out to attend this event. We at Conneqt, as a business service provider, are keen to build partnerships with leading organizations that provide state-of-the-art technologies that can enhance value to our customers. Since today, we are happy to announce our partnership with UiPath on automation. This accelerates Conneqt's vision of building more automation-first environments and expediting transformation leading to sustainable change for our customers. With the power of UiPath's technology platform and Conneqt's business expertise, we will be able to create opportunities for our customers in their marketplaces. So briefly, again, for all our clients, you're aware, but just a brief recap, we are a trusted BPM partner today in the country. We work with more than 150 customers, team of 35,000 employees today within Conneqt, 500 million customer touch points. We probably, for some of our businesses, we are present in about 600 towns, covering 94% of India's PIN codes. We have centers from 24 different delivery centers in India, right? So, and we are very proud to be working with 3 of the top 5 public sector banks. We work with probably most of the private sector banks, number of the insurance service providers, and also today in the last 2 years, we are working with a number of new age companies, and that gives us a unique window to some of the newer customers' operating model, and also we are able to see the changes that are required, the changes that are being adopted by all our customers. You can go on. So we at Conneqt, the unique thing that we at Conneqt have today is our business domain expertise and experience across industries. We have a depth of expertise that we have in the insurance sector that we not only do here, but more importantly, outside India as well. I mean, we work with, given our experience in the BFSI industry, we provide services and understand the business across the value chain there. A lot of it also in the BFSI mid and back office, our experience ranges there. Over the last 3 years, we have enhanced our competencies that we today provide F&A services to many of our customers. And as probably all of you know, and I think our real strength has been in the customer lifecycle management, both inbound, outbound, right? Helping customers grow their revenue, service operations, omni-channel, a depth of experience there. Over the last 2 years, we have started to work with a number of utilities today, and as utilities are undergoing transformation, we are helping with some of the customers there. We spoke about retail e-commerce. We work with a number of customers there, and also on the employee lifecycle management. So our depth of experience on the business areas provides us a great opportunity to see how we can enhance what we can do for our customers. In one other screen. I took over as the CEO of this company in March, and so one of the things that I spent time in the first 2 months is to look at what should be the purpose of Conneqt. What should we do, all right? And the more we looked at it, I think it was clear to us that we need to be a trusted partner for our clients in helping them grow revenues, in helping them enable efficiencies, and to make sure that we're able to help them enhance experience in their customer journeys. So this became very important, and once we redefined this purpose, it was very clear to us as to how we can make sure that we can focus on investing and building partnerships that is going to help us, our customers, on these key business objectives. You can move on this year. So what what we're announcing today, and something that we've all gathered, is to announce we setting up a robotic automation center of excellence. We are doing this today. We are setting this up with UiPath. And the reason for that is twofold. We realize that if we need to continue to add value to our customers, we need to bring strong technology partnerships. And if you look at automation, I think it is one area which not only is going to help our customers on the efficiencies which I spoke about, but also in helping them grow revenues, also in helping them address the customer experience. And it is very critical that we have the right technology partner. We were convinced it is UiPath, and we said we should set up our competency on the center of excellence with UiPath. Now, what does this competency center have? The competency center will have experts on the technology. And again, I think if you look at the number of roles that you need to play in any automation program, you need to have people who understand the business domain. You need to have business analysts. So we'll be able to repurpose many of our existing employees and enhance them with the competencies required here. So that experience is there. We are enhancing a lot of new people that we're getting on board when it comes to all the technology competencies that are required on UiPath. We are started to build a number of accelerators here, which is going to make it easy for our journeys. The lab is going to house all the competencies and the accelerators that we have. And also we are building all the methodologies, that is required for that. And we are setting up a very comprehensive training academy or a competency academy for within the company, jointly working with UiPath. And this will help us provide services for our customers. It could be setting up, looking at automation as a service. It could be automation platform as a service. It could be consulting services to help our customers chart out the automation roadmap, and then subsequently help them with the implementation services on automation. And of course, then subsequently make sure that we are managing that and helping customers look at ROI. And we believe this competency center and the center of excellence that we have is going to help us work with our customers and help us set up a similar automation competency centers within our end customers. It could be in a hybrid model, it could be in a centralized model, it could be in a federated model. The number of variety of models will be able to help customers achieve their automation outcome. In one other stream. Yeah. So in summary, what does this mean? In summary, it means leveraging our business process expertise that we have today. It is leveraging UiPath's technology partnership and the technology platform that they are bringing. Our own robotic automation center of excellence I spoke about. And we believe combining all of these is going to help us work with the customers on their automation journey and helping the customers towards setting up automated enterprise for them. And something again we are proud of is if you look at our journey in the last 15 years with that Conneqt has had, we have had a very good track record of partnering with customers over several years. So has their customers' agendas have changed, we have been a partner in continuing to stay relevant for the customers. So this we believe is again, I think that our competencies and the center of excellence in automation, we believe is going to be very important so that we are able to continue this partnership with the customers and continue to add relevance in helping them on automation, making sure there is ROI for their journeys and making sure it is going to help them on their business outcomes. So thanks again. We're very excited by this and we look forward to working closely with UiPath, but working with all of your customers in helping you on this journey. So thanks a lot. Let me now pass it on to Anil and look forward to continuing to work closely with all of you. Thank you. Anil, over to you.
Thank you, Arjun. First of all, very happy to be here. I'm very excited at this partnership that we have with Conneqt. So really looking forward. Good morning, everybody. I really would like to thank all of you, especially our customers and partners who have joined. I hope you find this session valuable. We'll try every bit from our side to make sure that we provide you with all the necessary details to help you better understand the role of this partnership. Adishri, if you could just stop, I could share my screen, please, if you don't mind. Thank you. Okay. I hope you can see my screen.
Sure, Anil, we can. Thank you.
Yeah, so I just want to continue where Arjun left. I think the point really is today, if we look at, and this is the experience that I've had talking to all of the large business conglomerates, enterprises, that automation is becoming a boardroom conversation. It is now seen as a strategic business enabler, right? And I would really like to think of UiPath as one of these companies that led market transitions and changed the world. Think of what Tesla or Apple did. They led a market transition and then they changed the world. In my mind, there are three irreversible trends that we've seen so far, which is globalization, digitization, mobility. And we will never go back in time, right? We will continue with this. I think the fourth irreversible trend in my mind is the power of automation. Why do I say automation is the fourth irreversible trend, right? I think the genesis of why we came into being was we saw the gap between technology evolution. If you look at just the last decade, the technology evolution, the pace at which technology evolved versus human evolution, right? The gap is only widening. And the only way to bridge this gap is to kind of take the repetitive, mundane jobs from people that we do almost on a daily basis and then put them to a higher purpose of work, right? That's the only way we can bridge this gap. And so in a very short period of time, UiPath, which started primarily as an RPA company, right? We are headquartered in the New York city. I think if you look at where we have achieved today in about 15 years' time, it's just remarkable. CNBC called us as one of the top disrupting companies in the top 50 in 2020. We are now the number one market share, leader as per Gartner, 30%. And that combined, if I just take the next two competitors combined, our market share is higher than that. We've been Magic Quadrant leaders for Gartner quite some time. We've got market leadership in Forrester. The reason why we became successful is because we morphed from an RPA company to a complete platform provider. Right? What does that mean? It means we need to bring in the power of cognitive technologies, whether it is artificial intelligence, whether it is machine learning, whether it is customers who are wanting to deploy a solution in the cloud or using hybrid models. We had to cater to all of these requirements, right? And so when we went into our IPO in April this year, it was the second most successful IPO after Snowflake. Today we are valued at $33 billion, rarity. And that really shows the promise of the opportunity that we have and our capability to absorb that. Our mission morphed from just being seen as an automation provider to be seen as a platform provider, as a true partner that can help enable enterprises become fully automated. So we are on this mission of creating fully automated enterprises. What does it mean? I want to decode this for you. There are 4 key pillars when we talk to customers today who are looking at a complete end-to-end automation journey with us, right? We want to first ensure the low-hanging fruit, which is anything and everything that is automatable, assigned robots. That's the simple low-hanging fruit. Nobody really even debates that, right? And it started with back office, as many of us know. The second is, like Bill Gates once famously said that we need to have a PC for every person. Daniel, our CEO, had this vision of creating a robo for every person. And think of this powerful statement, right? Imagine the workforce that we have, global workforce, being augmented by robots who can become their assistants or can do a lot of work that they would repeatedly do, right, on a day-to-day basis. That is the second pillar. The third is then to democratize development. Make sure that the workers that are there, they become change agents and they kind of use low code or very little skill required for low code applications that they can use to kind of automate simple tasks, right? Get into crowdsourcing, making sure that it becomes a way of life. Automation is equal to innovation. Every single day, we should think about what else can we automate to become more efficient and proficient. Last pillar, but not the least, is then to unleash AI. AI to find out, what all can we do, leverage the power of artificial intelligence, discover processes which may not have been discovered otherwise. Look at areas which we may not think of, areas that can be automatable. I think this is really about deploying smarter robots. And I can tell you, in our span of 5 years, the journey that we've been on, many large enterprises, a lot of these enterprises today see us as strategic partners, not as an OEM, because we have the ability to create a fully automated enterprise, right? Now, if I just look at the industries today, and this is not about banking or insurance, it's in the public sector, it's in manufacturing, oil and gas, automotive, pharma, every single vertical or industry today is asking for automation. The impact can be varied, right? For example, 25% of all financial organizations, that means 25% of work within a financial organization can be easily automatable. This is not what we are saying. This is what McKinsey says. I would argue my experience is otherwise. A lot of financial services customers, and I'm talking in India, have started building an end-to-end roadmap. In fact, the very leading bank in India has a journey called Automation 2025. That means they want to automate everything, whatever is possible by 2025. Again, insurance, if you take 80% of jobs in insurance can be transformed and will be automatable. This is something that Forrester is saying. Manufacturing, I mean, who would have thought of manufacturing, but 50% of manufacturers are looking at productivity gains, right? And they believe at least 15 to 20% of that productivity gain is quite possible in the industries that they belong to. So essentially, it is now a very key strategic business enabler. Like I said, a boardroom conversation. And there are two ways to look at it. This is the experience that we've had. One, and this is something that we've seen quite often, maybe in the last couple of years, where you start small, you start taking a couple of functions, trying a few automations, building a COE, but then it gets stuck. So this tactical approach from bottoms up, we've seen many organizations relook this differently now because it hasn't given them the kind of results that they wanted. So what's the new approach? The new approach is really successful enterprises. I'm talking of enterprises that are on a digital transformation journey, an end-to-end journey. They said, let's take a top-down strategic approach. What does that mean? It means having executive sponsorship. It means making sure that we understand what's the executive vision around automation. What is it that the enterprise is trying to achieve? And then establish clear goals for the year, saying, what is it that we want to see automated by the end of the year? Plan for that. Budget for that, whether it's resources or anything else, tools, or things like best practices that they will like, organizations such as UiPath Conneqt to bring to the table. It's really about engagement, strategic engagement at key stakeholdership level if we have to kind of drive this down. Now, has this result or this approach worked? It has tremendous impact. I think the organizations that are successful are calling this out as a huge success area because it has got executive sponsorship. So this approach has delivered fantastic results. And this is not what we are saying. This is what even McKinsey said in 2020, right? So I think from our standpoint, this relationship with Conneqt brings the strategic element that I just talked about. Our capabilities can help with a strategic partnership with you, build an end-to-end automation journey for you. And this is something that we can do basis the use cases, providing industry consulting, domain expertise, value engineering in terms of realizing what value will automation bring, tangible value that we can go back to the board. And all of those results are possible. And we are well equipped. So I'm really excited of having Conneqt as a partner, a strategic partner to us. What I would really like to do is hand over to Nitin, who can really take you through a little more deep dive of what are the automation journeys, especially in the banking segment. What is it that we've been able to achieve, and what are the results that these banks are now talking about, right? So with that, I'd like to hand over to Nitin.
Thank you so much, Anil, and thank you so much everyone for joining. Hope all of you are able to see my screen. So I think just picking up from I think where Anil left. I think
you need to go into the PowerPoint mode. Then.
Yeah. So can you see my screen now? Sorry, one second.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So I think just starting from where I think Anil left. So like he said, it has to be a top-down vision today when we talk about automation. So when we look at value creation, in a fully automated enterprise, what does it encompass, right? So like Anil mentioned, so today it's not just about single departmental based use cases, maybe one or two use cases. It's not even about just expanding in a single department. Today it's about expanding and utilizing the full automation platform across your enterprise, across different businesses and functions, right? And this is where you will get a large value from it, right? And when I say value, let's have a look at what that value means, right? So this is a study which we did, based on our experience. So today we have more than 800 plus banking customers across the globe. We have a big presence in India as well, and uh, based on some of the successful banking journeys, we identified that for every 8,000 employees in a bank, you can actually add 1 million hours worth of capacity by enabling your workforce with automation. So that's the kind of value we see, and this value is only in terms of hours right now, and this is just one facet of it, right? And I'll actually show you what are the other levers, what are the other drivers which today banks are reaping when it comes to automation and utilization of automation, right? I think the basic question everyone has in mind is, how do you start your journey? Where do you start your journey, right? And I have a very simple answer to that. And again, tying back to what Anil said, now it is all about that top-down approach. It's all about that strategic vision you want to bring around your automation program, and this strategic vision has to tie with your strategic priorities, in your organization, right? So for a bank, strategic priorities could include things like improving your customer experience. It could include things like revenue growth might be a strategic priority for you, or maybe in this COVID time we have also seen that just ensuring business and operational resiliency is also one of the strategic priority for banks, right? And similarly, risk and compliance, operational efficiency, all of these could be your strategic priorities for your organization, and you want to make sure that your vision for automation actually ties with your own strategic priorities, because then you will be able to identify the right focus areas of uh, applying automation and achieving your strategic priorities in those specific areas. So we want to make sure that we are not talking in very general and standard terms. We want to get as much focused as possible, and we want to make sure that we are able to derive the right benefits which are actually impacting or helping your organization from a strategic priorities perspective. With that, I think I wanted to focus on what are the key areas, right? So I've shown you what are the strategic priorities, where automation can help. Now let's actually go into the second level of detail in, how do we address those strategic priorities? So I picked up 4. Obviously, in the interest of time, we cannot cover everything. I've tried to pick up the 4 most important strategic priorities, which in the Indian banking landscape, I have seen customers adopting automation to address, right? Now, these 4 are essentially around, customer servicing. Now, customer servicing is a very, very important piece. So today, I have customers who are actually applying automation to make sure their overall NPS scores are improving, right? And again, I will talk about the different servicing channels as well in a while, which we are able to impact from an automation perspective. The second piece is customer journey, right? It could be different customer onboarding journeys, or it could be, say, a mortgage journey. So how do we make sure that we are able to make our customer journeys more efficient? We are able to reduce the overall onboarding time. Anil was mentioning earlier, so today we are working with one of the leading banks in India. One of their strategic priorities is, can I reduce the onboarding time, customer onboarding time, by 50% using automation? So that's one of the biggest strategic priorities they have for their end-to-end customer journeys. Then the third important pillar, and again, this has actually gained a lot of prominence, in this COVID time, is around loss mitigation, default management, right? So obviously, we see there's a lot of distress, for individual customers, even for small and medium businesses, and banks want to make sure, and financial services organizations want to make sure how they can mitigate their losses, how they can reduce their losses, or how they can do a better job in terms of predicting the defaults, right? So I think that's the third area, which we'll talk about in more details. And then lastly, so today we are also seeing that UiPath digital assistants are being leveraged by organizations for improving overall, persona productivity. So we'll be talking a little bit about how the whole digital assistant approach. So today, UiPath digital assistant are actually acting as a digital assistant for different personas in banking organizations. So we will see how these digital assistant kind of help different roles in banking organizations and financial services organizations to improve the overall productivity. So let's jump into the first theme here, which is around the whole customer servicing piece. So like I said, I think when we talk about customer servicing, there are multiple channels. So there's a branch as a channel. So we've done a lot of branch automation. There's contact center as a channel. It's a very big area for us from an automation perspective. I will share some examples around that. And then there are virtual channels like email. So email as a channel has gained a lot of prominence, during this time where customers are, sending emails. And now these emails are free text in nature, unstructured in nature. So handling those emails again is a big task for banks. So this is one, good example where we've helped, top 3 Indian private bank uh, automate their customer servicing piece around emails, right? So this bank received almost more than a million emails every year. Uh, Now the biggest challenge for these banks is because of the free text nature or unstructured nature of these emails. How do you identify, which product category or what type of request or complaint is coming through these emails, right? So we applied our text classification machine learning model across these emails. Now, how it helps is it allows you to first classify those emails, right? So that say it is an email which is related to a credit card. It is an email which is related to a, say a home loan complaint. So you can first classify and bucket those emails into different categories, and then any next action on that email can then be taken only after the classification happens, right? So again, this saves a lot of time, because upfront, first and foremost, you need to identify what type of email it is. So you can see here that we saved almost 90% handling time by implementing this classification model. We got an accuracy of almost 93% on day one when we implemented this model for our customers. So this is just one example of handling or using automation on email as a channel, right? uh, let's move to the next one. Now, this is again a very good example, and like I said earlier, contact center has been a big area for us from an automation perspective. I just want to pick one example and show you, when we say contact center automation, how does it really look like today, right? So this is a very simple journey. I think all of us can relate. It's a card's late fee waiver. So say if there's a late fee which has been applied on your card, um, what will happen? So I will call the contact center of the bank. Now the in this case, assume John is the customer and Laura is the contact center agent. So once Laura receives the call, Laura is going to look up John's records and confirm whether the account number and everything is right. And then I think what Laura is going to do is find out what is the query type, right? So in this case, it's a late fee waiver request. So then Laura is going to retrieve the historical transaction behavior of John. Laura wants to definitely know whether this is a repeat behavior from John, or this is just a one-off first-time request coming from John. And in this case, and to do so, she will have to go through the past transaction history, past behavior across maybe different products which John might have taken from the bank, right? After doing that, Laura, obviously being on the call with John, checks all of this, checks past 12 months payment history, and then Laura is able to confirm this. Yes, John is not a not a not defaulting every month. This is the first time that John is calling for waiving the late payment fee. And then Laura creates a case into the case management system for waiving the fee, right? So again, you see that there are a lot of steps which we saw in this process. It might take almost around 6 to 7 minutes to go through this process. Now let's have a look at how automation will help here, right? So again, same scenario. Laura receives the call, confirms whether John is the right customer who's calling, and verifies the account number. And then Laura kind of triggers the automation. Now in this case, we are using a attended automation which Laura can trigger from her own desktop, right? And now as soon as the automation is triggered by LoRa, the robot is doing all the next steps, like going and checking the historical payment behavior, going and checking if there are similar other requests logged for other products from John. And then bot is going to create a recommendation for Laura that, hey, look, Laura, John, this is again the first time John is coming up with a request. I've seen all the payment history. I've checked John's behavior across different product types, and we are fine to go ahead and waive this fee for John, right? Again, uh, Laura, all Laura has to do is create a confirmation or give that confirmation to John. Hey, look, everything is fine. We have taken your waiver request, and the bot is actually going and creating the waiver request into your case management or workflow system, right? Now, just in terms of the benefits, you can see that in this case, the with automation, Laura is only taking almost like just 3 minutes. Now, one, obviously, it is helping in reducing the overall call time, so I'm not making the customer wait. Second, I'm also improving my customer experience. Third, I'm also improving the overall, customer satisfaction rate and even employee satisfaction rate, because Laura doesn't have to go and do all the, tedious task of, checking the historical transaction behavior. So I think this is a very simple example, but we have done, many more automations in contact centers, and again, like I said, it has been a huge success for us, both in the Indian market and also, with some of the global banking customers as well. Let's move to the next theme, which is essentially around handling customer journeys, right? So today, like I said, there are multiple customer types. Individual customers are there. So this is the journey which you see on your screen is an individual customer KYC journey. Now, before I embark on this journey, I think an important factor to understand is, in order to kind of solve any journey, it's a combination of technologies you will need, right? So it is not just RPA, it's not just AI. You will need a combination of technology. So here you will see that any journey in a bank typically would start with documents, right? So you need a capability, an intelligent document processing capability, which allows you to handle different structured and unstructured data types, right? It could be KYC document, it could be passport or PAN card or Aadhaar card. You need to handle all of those documents. So you need to have a good intelligent document processing capability, which complements your RPA. So you definitely need RPA, because using RPA you can check all the rules, you can do all the validations after the data has been extracted from all of those documents. So I think again, just in terms of how we automate a typical customer journey. So one is the handling the documents. Second is data validation from the data which is extracted from those documents. Then there are integrations which we also do. So today, as you can see, UiPath can do API based integrations, UiPath can do UI based integrations, and again, within the whole KYC or client onboarding journey, there has to be a lot of you have to do a lot of screening as well. So then you might need a lot of integrations as well with different screening platforms. So that is something which is also possible to do through automation. And then finally, once everything is checked, you've done all the validations, you've done the screening, you have to onboard your customer. So then you use RPA to perform the data entry process of putting all the customer information into your downstream application. So this is again, again, very simple terms, how you can automate a typical customer KYC journey using a combination of technologies like intelligent document processing, API based integrations, and RPA. I don't want to take too much time here, but I just wanted to show you that we have also automated a more complex journeys. So this is an example where we've automated a small and medium business customer journeys for many banks actually. Similarly, this is a journey we have automated for one of the Indian mortgage service providers. So again, I think all of us would have taken a home loan at some point of time, and we know how complex mortgage documents are. So here you can see that we have automated a mortgage journey. We made the mortgage journey more seamless by creating extractors for different mortgage types, and then obviously applying all the validation and checking capabilities on top of the data which has been extracted from the mortgage documents. So I just wanted to highlight, so today with the combination of technologies, with the we have as part of a platform, it is possible to automate multiple multiple customer journeys and make those journeys more seamless for our banking and financial services customers. Let's move to the third theme, which is essentially around, like I said, the whole loss mitigation piece. Now, this is, like I said, gaining a lot of prominence now because we see a lot of customers are in distress, and financial services organizations want to prepare themselves, to take care of some of these, loss mitigation journeys. And now, I'll take a minute to kind of highlight what are the pieces we can handle today, right? Or what are the pieces which are required today to bolster your loss mitigation journey, right? So typically, the first piece is predicting default, right? So if I am able to identify which customers are likely to default, I can be better prepared. I can notify the customer and I can be better prepared to deal with that customer, right? So the first thing is, so you can see that today we have ML based models, which can be trained to predict defaults, right? So again, predictive analysis is a very important thing. Now, the beauty of the model is it not only predicts the customers who are going to default, it also associates a confidence score, across the predictions. So then, you can assign a priority, and then based on that priority, you can take necessary actions, right? So now, once the prediction part is completed, the next part is how do you, what is the next action you want to take? So in some cases, it might just be that you want to notify the customer. Now that notification could just be, through an email or through an SMS. So today we have integration capabilities with mailboxes. We have integration capabilities with different SMS services. So you can definitely leverage, automation to notify the customer. Second scenario is where, what you really want to do is see if you can restructure the loan, and I'll give you a more detailed example later as well, where what banks say that, hey, look, I know, you are under distress, and let's see if we can restructure your loan into a little better and give you better conditions so that you don't default, and you eventually pay the whole loan as well with certain better conditions, right? So again, there's a lot of activity which needs to be done in terms of loan restructuring, right? Because you have to go to your system, restructure the loan terms, restructure your payment schedules into your underlying loan platforms, right? So that's another big area where you can definitely leverage automation to restructure your customers' loans as well, right? And then there are other actions from a collections perspective. uh, you know Things like skip tracing. So today, a lot of collections organizations perform this activity of skip tracing, where they want to identify details about the customers, or those customers who have already defaulted. So then you need to first know all the details of that particular customer, and in order to do that, you need to scan a lot of internal and external portals as well. So again, so today you can see that you can use automation, you can use UiPath to do a lot of internal and external portal scanning as well. So that's another area where you can use automation within the collections space as well. Lastly, I think I was mentioning about the whole restructuring piece. So this is again not taking too much time here, but this is just one example where we worked with a leading bank, where they used automation capabilities for deferring loan payment schedules for their customers, right? So again, this is one scenario we came across during COVID. For actually not just one bank, actually many banks, we automated this loan deferral process for many banks during this COVID time. Let's move to the last theme, which I wanted to show you. This is essentially around digital assistant. So let me take a quick minute to explain what the digital assistant typically means, right? So today, we talk a lot about automation. We do a lot of end-to-end automations, right? So essentially, where the robots are running, at a central server level, and not necessarily touching humans, right? But you have very limited scenarios in a banking landscape where you can do that, because banking journeys are very complex, right? So now we need something where humans and robots can work together. Now this is where digital assistants gain a lot of prominence, because part of the job can be done by the human, and then part of the mundane task or the rule based or repetitive task can be done by the robot, right? And then again, in a very, very seamless way, the robots and humans can interact together. So I just want to give you this first example. And like I said, so today we have built digital assistant for a lot of different personas in banks. So AML analyst is just one example. We have worked with a lot of organizations where internal audit as a function has adopted our digital assistant for 100% of their internal auditors, right? We have worked with finance teams where finance teams are leveraging our digital assistant. We have worked with trade operations teams where they are leveraging our digital assistant. So let me come back here and take a minute to explain the whole digital assistant concept using this example of an AML analyst, right? So now if we look at the life of an AML analyst today, so typically, an AML analyst performs multiple activities, right? Investigating different alerts, decisioning different alerts and reporting. And then, every role you see has certain reporting and administrative activities. Now, if I have to, improvise the overall work profile of an AML analyst, I need to make sure I'm able to automate as many activities as possible, right? And this goes for every other, persona, every other role, or every other profile. So it's not just about automating one use case or two use case, because typically a person, performs multiple activities and multiple processes. So it is only by combination of automating all these different processes or as many of these processes that we can provide a higher impact, to this, to these analysts or to these, personas, right? So in this example, as you can see that this AML analyst typically can consume multiple automations. So like alerts investigation, which can be done by the robots, case enrichment, which can be done by the robots. Part of the decisioning can be done by the robots. And then, suspicious activity reporting, again, a very, very important task from a banking perspective. Again, preparation of the reports can also be done by the robots, right? And then there could be certain other small activities like, closing of alerts or creating certain internal reports or creating certain audit reports, again, is something which can be, done by the robot. So now essentially what we are doing here is impacting the overall work profile of an AML analyst and making the work profile future proof, right? So we talk about future of work. So this is what it looks like, where the robot is actually doing a lot of mundane activities for the AML analyst, while the AML analyst himself or herself is only focusing primarily on decision making, right? So as you can see over here, typical benefits of using this digital assistant: one, you can improve the overall personal productivity by 30 to 40%. Second, you can actually reduce the time and effort which the ML analyst takes in investigating this alert. Third, faster disposition of the alert, because analyst is spending more time in decisioning the alerts than investigating, right? So decisioning is something which humans should do, right? And not investigating and creating reports. So I think those are the pieces which I wanted to show you, and these are the themes which I wanted to cover. Happy to go in more details and partner with you in this journey. And all I would say is, let's work together, both with UiPath and Conneqt, to achieve your automation vision. So thank you and let me pass to Rinoo, who is the next speaker after me.
Thank you very much, Nitin. Adishri, if you can bring up the slides. So a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for having me here. I manage digitization for Conneqt. Today, I'll cover about how automation and AI and robotics and associated innovations in Conneqt have helped us in solving some real world problems and deliver some optimization for key business KPIs for our customers. Like my colleagues who have spoken about this, the pace at which automation is both replacing and augmenting the human efforts in BPM firms is an indication of how an AI-driven automation and all these frameworks are changing the way we work. Yeah, next one, please. Yeah, the way we work and the way we live. Many companies, including us, have used technologies to automate processes. However, we firmly believe that firms that deploy robotics or AI mainly to displace employees only see short-term productivity gains. Firms achieve most significant performance improvement when humans and machines work together. And that's the principle that we firmly believe. And through such collaborative intelligence, where both humans, robots, and algorithms are working with each other, offering each other's complementary strengths, the leadership, the teamwork, the creativity, the social skills of the humans, and the speed, scalability, and quantitative capabilities of the robots. Actually, business requires both kind of capabilities. I actually remember prior to the pandemic era, there was a lot of skepticism in some circles about the value of automation and transformation using digital. However, as we observe, COVID-19 has accelerated this migration to digital and automation at a very accelerated pace. The pandemic has made us learn the hard way that technology will aid us in fighting any future disasters. And the ultimate differentiator for scale and efficiency is this. In my view, the spectrum of automation in an organization can be classified into three. One is basic, simple bots. Previous one, please. Yeah, thank you very much. Simple bots, rule-based bots. They're easy. They're very easy to implement. However, to gauge the right candidate for automation is very important. Second is enhanced automation, ability to use extraction techniques, use OCR, use a bit of rules and validations. The pros are machine learning components enable, pattern recognition, context identification, cluster formation. However, it takes a bit of time to kick in, 1 or 2 months for the engine to start producing. And the last one is cognitive automation, which uses sophisticated AI technologies, including NLP and speech recognition, computer vision, and we have used a lot of them to perform and augment activities done by humans. So cognitive solutions, when incorporated, my colleagues have spoken about this, provide very sophisticated hypothesis generation, advanced predictive analytics, and utilization of them into decision making by humans. So with this, we move on to next one. Here I will talk about a real case. Most of the organization across globes have started realizing that the necessity of adopting automation is there. And our client is amongst the most financially robust general insurance companies. It offers wide range of products from car, home, and two-wheeler insurance. The problem that we encountered when we were transitioning this process was that the reconciliation process was very time consuming, often sometimes prone to errors, in effect costly and time consuming. So what we provided as a solution was obviously bots, both augmenting and replacing humans. So the bot reads files, gets into different systems, uploads in a BR system, automates, does a reconciliation, and also provides the MIS reports by check uploads into customer ERP. What it has made available is that the bot triggers based on rules and adapts also the situation, containing a variety of rules, and it augments the entire process. So what are the benefits that we have arrived at? Almost zero defect rates, providing absolutely optimal accuracy, compliance, and as well as scalability, because there are seasonal variations to this. The speed also has been improved quite considerably. In fact, cost reduction has been around 60%, and around 70% of efficiency has been achieved further to what we were able to achieve with humans. This just goes on to show automation applied with a little bit of machine learning can go a long way. Next one, please. Here, I will talk about how we have partnered for a housing finance company, and growth was a good business problem to solve for them. So this client is growing a very growing HFC with a book value of almost 113 billion. The challenge here that we encountered was that volume of data was very, very high. And like any other industry, the seasonal variations did present huge amount of challenges in ability to scale up. With humans, obviously, this becomes a problem. And when we do KYCs, there are a lot of different portals from which customer information has to be extracted, validated, and then fed back into the system. So what we designed as a bot was to help scrape information from different portals. Of course, apply rules and do algorithms to substantiate that the person applying is genuine and there is least amount of fraud among this, and also provide different validation techniques to arrive at the KYC. And obviously the bot does a lot along with humans there. Accuracy, scalability, speed, at all outcome. We have reduced AST in a very, very significant manner. We have also increased the KYC throughput by 80%. So in several industries, especially BPO, RPA and AI have been recognized as the central enabler for digital transformation, and much anticipated and aspirational totally automated customer service as well. We are doing these kind of automations, and like my previous speaker spoke about augmenting humans, we also have been deploying a lot of augmentation technologies for humans, including assistants, and we'll talk about it more. With this, I would like to invite my colleague Mohan to talk about and initiate a roundtable.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rinoo. That was a wonderful experience sharing of what we were able to do for our customers. So let us get into the roundtable discussion. We have 30 minutes, and I'm already seeing quite a lot of questions that have come in the chat window. So let me start with a simple one to you, Nitin. One of the question was, is video KYC part of your offerings? That's a question posted in by one of the customer. So if you have a quick answer to that.
Yes. So I think, see, the answer is when we look at video KYC, right? So again, video KYC as a journey is a big process. So while the front face where there's a video KYC interface, that is not something which UiPath has an offering, but we do integrate with many video KYC providers where the video KYC service providers have a front face which can be leveraged for video KYC. But then there's a long tail of process behind that video KYC where you have to capture documents submitted through video KYC, capture images, perform a lot of validations which are required to be done as part of the tail end process within the video KYC process. Now this is where we complement a lot of video KYC service providers where the front end or the front interface is from them, and all the remaining backend process is something which UiPath supports today.
Great. Thank you, Nitin. So before I go to the next set of questions, I again encourage participants to keep typing away their questions they might have into the chat window. I'll put them to the panel. So coming to the next question, I think I will ask Anil about it. So Anil, you talked about the top-down approach, right, to make it more strategic, right? So in your view, how do you see this evolving into a conversation and an agenda in the boardroom, right? And broadly, how do you see this impact the very future of work in the industry?
Yeah, thanks, Mohan. I apologize. I may probably give a long answer, but let me try and cover as much as possible in this. So automation was always there in some shape and form. It's not new, right? But the focus on driving digital transformation as a key business priority, especially at a C-suite boardroom level, accelerated the need to drive automation within the enterprise, right? And I personally don't think digital transformation is possible without embedding automation strategically into it. So whilst we talk of digital transformation, I think it is clear to all the conversations that we've been having with the C-suite that automation is an integral part of digital transformation. Second, the ravaging pandemic, and this is a very good use case, right? It brought forward the need for enterprises to transform for being more digital than physical. The board expected business continuity. You had to build resiliency as part of core operations, right? So the need to do more with less, increase productivity levels, increase operational efficiencies, drive growth, right? with enhanced customer experience that Nitin was talking about, with same or lesser resources, it became acute in the pandemic. That is why it got the attention at a boardroom level, because you had to do all of this. And so therefore, automation today is seen as a strategic business enabler. I think we often talk about the integration of people, process, and technology. And this is something that I covered. We need to bridge the gap between humans and technology, right? So the manual repetitive work, the low-hanging fruit easily can be done by the bots, right? And we need to learn to partner with them, especially when we know that people are expected to do higher order of work, given the evolution that we've talked about. And I'll give you last example of why it's a boardroom conversation. There's a customer in Japan. I can reference it. This is why I'm using the name SMBC. If you go study their balance sheet, they actually talk of the impact of automation on their balance sheet in terms of saving millions of dollars, right? And Nitin talked of the the number of hours saved, but I'm talking of tangible business outcomes. So I think the value realization now is a reality. You can't just use transformation and automation as loose buzzwords. It has to be show me the value, link it to a business outcome, which is where I think boards are getting important. The second part, which I think is again a great question, the future of work. Hybrid working today is a reality. Work from home, and there are critical business services that need to be run on-prem, right? How do you manage the two? You're not going to get more and more resources, right? How do you use this intelligently? That is the impact that I think automation has created. The shift from back office to front office. I'm thinking of, and I don't want to name a customer, but there's a customer who drives, the integration of all the user aspects, leveraging the contact center, pulls in all sorts of data, the life cycle management of a complete customer to understand, where in the life cycle that they can position their products, right? Automation brings all of that to the fore. So we need to find the right balance between bots as well as employees. I think last but not the least, there are things which I saw which was amazing. Today, there are organizations where when you see the org structures, they say, we manage a team of 5, 3 humans and 2 bots. I haven't seen this before, right? So that's the new impact of work, because people are now talking of bots as part of their teamwork, right? Because they know they have created an impact. So I think this is where it becomes very exciting, Mohan, and I'm glad you asked this question.
Thank you, Anil. That was very insightful. So we'll have bots in the team structure, and we should start having names as well, right, to each of them. But yeah, Anil, also I very much like the statement you made earlier that a robot for every person. I think that's a reality, and show the value. Very important statement, and how critical it is for our customers. And that is one of the purpose statement of Conneqt as well, right? We talk about driving efficiencies, right, and bringing the value to the customer, very tangible value to the customer. Right? Thanks, Anil, for that response you provided. I'll go to Rinoo. One very interesting question that has come up, right, which I believe you are very passionate about, and given that you work very closely with our customers on this, how critical you think it is to focus on improving our employee experience, customer employee experience, to even deliver a better or more superior customer experience?
I'm glad that you asked that question, Mohan. It's a very key focused area that most of the organizations are now focusing on. Employee experience equals customer experience. So enhance one, the other one automatically gets enhanced. Also, another key is giving employees a say where digitization could and should be adopted. So that's how we work. When employees generate their own ideas about where digitization might support companies, organizations basically succeed a little more. Empowering, workers is ensuring that the key role that they play in reinforcing change. Also, like any other organization, focusing on technology innovation managers is very, very important. For example, at our organization, we are focusing on 3 key elements of empowering employees and naturally enhancing their experience as well, so that they can deliver superior experience to our customers. First is NLP-enabled AI-powered virtual assistants, like Nitin spoke about virtual assistant for every employee. We also have that. So these act as assistants to our employees and advisors to give them information quickly, more efficiently, and also guide them. So guided path, enabling conversational interfaces. Another area that we have also applied automation and AI is enabling neuroscience-based pseudo real-time coaching and guidance. So these nudging systems which keep our whether it's distributed or in an office workforce, focused on targets, metrics, provides gamification, aspects to encourage collaboration, and also keep them guided as to where improvement can happen. And a host of real-time collaboration tools also coupled with these two technologies, where supervisors and associates and AI can help our employees. And all of this together delivers a very, very empowered environment to our employees, where they're able to service customers better, faster, and of course, focus on delivering experience, which is our core.
Sure. Thank you, Rinoo. That is really exciting to hear. And I think every employee of every organization would like to attest to this, right? Having that assistance will greatly help their own productivity, right? Absolutely good. So one other question came up, maybe to you. I can ask you this, Arjun, right? You talked about bringing together the business knowledge, right? And the customer intimacy that we have, right? Because to make the technology real for our customers, right? Translate it to tangible benefits. How much is it critical to bring in that that understanding of customer, the understanding of the context in India, right? And our knowledge of business helps, in your view?
No, thanks, Mohan, for asking that. I think it's a very important. It's a very important area. See, we are living in an era of constant change. Right? Change when it comes to regulations, change when it comes to expectations, change when it comes to a variety of market dynamics which are getting changed. Right? And I think we have all seen the extent of change which has happened in the last 2 years or year and a half, correct? When we look at all of the change, the business processes are originally designed for a particular purpose and a particular context. And based on those business purposes, a set of technology systems get designed, right? And we all know that I think things change, right? And when things change, it is not very easy for companies to optimize or keep enhancing their processes, and at the same time make sure that the technology is agile enough to be able to incorporate all of that, correct? And there is always a lag, right? And customer needs keep evolving. The senior management expectations keep increasing from, right? And the board expectations and the market expectations all keep changing, correct? If all of this has to happen, I mean, right? And there, it is possible sometimes through the power of technology, but how do you make it real, correct? To make it real happens, I think, only if you understand how I think the business processes are run and what are the current limitations of the technologies that are currently being used to deliver those business processes. And that is where I say Conneqt. I mean, today we are, as from being a BPM provider, we today run the business operations for many of our customers, right? What do we do when we run the business operations? In many cases, we are running it in entirety. In many cases, we are a core component of completing the end-to-end business process because we are working jointly with businesses. They right our existing client business folks on in enabling that end-to-end process. So right, and in many cases, we run a business process, but we know the limitation of the business process, limitation of other business processes, because they're involved for us to complete a particular piece of work, correct? So we have a very good understanding of the client's business process. So which puts us in a very powerful position of knowing, how you need to optimize those business processes or enhance this business process, both in what we do, both in areas where we are working with our customers, and both in other areas which the customers are using, which we may not be involved, but we are aware of, correct? And hence we have that insight, correct? Now this insight is useful provided we are able to apply that and are able to really look at how we can make a tangible benefit to customers, right? When I say to customers, it could be our customers or customers' customers. It has to have a tangible benefit. And that is where the power of automation comes in, all right? And if we are able to combine these two, then I think it becomes very powerful, right? Because it is real outcomes and real ROI and real productivity improvements that we are able to deliver. Also, when we speak to many of our customers, one constant expectation from senior management is, can you help us benchmark ourselves? Where do we compare? Where do the best compare, right? And what are the learnings, right? And we are in a unique position because we support a number of customers, right? So there is a certain expectation of how I think collectively some of the industry can move forward. To some degree, can there be some level of at least best practices that people can look at, right? With, I mean, right, to a degree, right? And I think that is possible to share, right? Being conscious of IP and so on, right? What are the business practices, the best practices which are there? And hence, to that degree, knowing, right? I think how I think some of the varied how the different companies are operating the business processes, it gives an opportunity to identify, right? Best-in-class processes and to how technology is able to help, and is it something that we are able to help our customers on that front. Third, we are also working with a lot of new age companies, and new age companies are working only on the back of technology, right? Technology is a primary powerhouse there, and we also see how the impact of a change they're able to make, right? Now, how do we make sure that we are able to bring in that knowledge into some of the other customers and look to see how we can help them achieve? So I think we are a core, I would say, critical player in helping our customers. And that is why I think we will need to leverage our process experience and bring in technology together. And when we are able to do it, I think the impact we can make is enormous. And in many cases, our customers are looking to us to be the driver because we understand the business. In many cases, even I would say of a higher degree, right? Because we are running it for them, right? So I know it's a long answer, Mohan, but I think we see enough examples where there is a need. And I think in some instances where we have already implemented it, we have seen a benefit, and hence it's about getting it to scale now.
Thank you, Arjun. I think that was a comprehensive view. I really appreciate the details you shared. So one question, maybe Nitin, since you have so much of experience helping our banking customers, the question is, with so much of digital disruption happening in this industry, right? Both with the old age, then the new age digital banking services companies, right? How much is automation a very critical aspect, right, for the banking customers to stay ahead, stay relevant, right, and also bring the change with the customers and the experience? Like, what your experience having executed this for some of our leading banks in India?
Absolutely. No, I think that's a great question. And see, while automation as a whole has been a great enabler for digital disruption or digital transformation, let me actually focus on few examples, right? And this is where I always say you need to have a vision, and your vision has to be tied with the strategic priorities. So today I'm working with some of the global banks who have actually embedded in their offerings, right? So like in the product offerings to say wholesale or business banking customers, to provide a more personalized and integrated solution or an experience. Now they are embedding UiPath automation platform capabilities within their own offerings, right? Within the wholesale and in treasury space as well, so that their customers, end customers, banks, end customers, wholesale and treasury customers have a better, more integrated, more personalized experience, right? So that's one is in terms. So we are helping banks in new product innovations. That's one area. Second, I think, and again, I think Anil has also highlighted, omni-channel customer experience, right? So today I'm working with multiple, top Indian banks, two of the top 5 Indian banks actually, whom we are helping, across the different channels to make sure that their customer journeys across, those channels are as efficient and as self-servicing as well, right? So today, I think we are living in a world where the end customers want to see journeys as much as self-servicing in nature as possible, right? So I think that's the ideal goal. How many journeys, how many overall customer journeys I can make self-service in nature, and as much as as much self-service as possible in nature, because that essentially defines the one overall customer experience and reduces the touch points which are there in the overall customer journey. And then third, and again I don't want to keep it too long, is so we are working with a lot of fintechs and digital banks as well today, right? Who are at the who use cutting edge technology, and
Right.
they are also embedding our automation stack within their overall platforms which they provide, right? So I'll give you an example. So we are working with some of the fintechs who are using our intelligent document processing capabilities and some of our ML capabilities to handle unstructured data. Now unstructured data within the financial services ecosystem is a big pain point, right? It takes a lot of effort. Now that unstructured data could be in the form of documents, that unstructured data could be in the form of agreements, that unstructured data could be in the form of emails or contractual documents, right? So some of these fintechs are also using us and embedding some of the IDP, intelligent document processing capabilities we have into their stack to handle some of that unstructured data, right? So I think these are few ways in which we are helping, not just from a operational efficiency standpoint, but even for new product innovation, or and even for scaling of the platform, if I have to put it that way.
So Mohan, if I may just add one critical just to
Sure.
what Nitin said. I think there is a big push. So there are many banks, the new age banks are projecting themselves as digital banks. And if you have to
Right.
compete, you have to kind of morph from just being seen as a legacy to, a digital bank. So we interface, and automation is really about getting into legacy and converting that legacy into the next generation, right? So automation is being used as a big lever by these legacy banks to move away from legacy applications to new age applications. Like Nitin said, from brick mortar to self-service models, right? And I think automation is used as a big lever there to convert this legacy into new age, right? And we have enough examples which we can again take offline if people are interested. That journey is anyways getting accelerated, right? Because everybody wants to be, from a customer experience standpoint, wants to be ahead of the game. Customer acquisition wants to be ahead of the game, right? It's really about how do we sell more products to the same customer. So I think there are enough examples that we can bring to the table on how these disruptions are taking place and how automation is being used as a strategic business lever.
Absolutely. Great. Yeah, thanks, Anil. Thanks, Nitin. And at Conneqt, we are obviously a lot into this whole customer lifecycle services, right? And I can vouch for how automation has helped a lot of our banking customers, right? And definitely, I believe this will be a great transformation lever for us. So the next question I see, very interesting question, maybe to you, Rinoo. I know at Conneqt, we do a lot of this employee lifecycle management. We help customers with the entire life cycle from hire to retire, right? In your view, with your experience of having a service or customer in this space, how can automation help in the hiring? How can automation help? This is a very talent deficit market, right? How can automation help in hiring the best candidate? And also, how can it improve the candidate experience in the whole onboarding process?
Absolutely. This is one of my favorite areas, because here the scope of automation is tremendous. If you look at the discovery, onboarding, and related experiences, automation has huge roles to play. For example, how can it help recruiters? Recruiters spend a lot of time collecting CVs. Now it's a mammoth exercise. First, collecting itself from different sources, and then sifting through. It takes a lot of time. Usually a recruiter is spending maybe 30 or 60 seconds. Now that, like Nitin talked about, gathering information is a job for a robot. That's where we help. Screen, scrape, organize, and collate information quickly for the recruiter and present relevant information for a decision. That's the first area that we apply automation, and intelligent automation, because a lot of this data can be semi-structured or even unstructured for sometimes. Second part is, once it has happened and somebody has been shortlisted, how do you make that whole journey of interaction, from initial interaction to onboarding, as frictionless as possible? So there are a lot of steps that are required. At every step, you can deploy automation, self-service, and that's what we offer. including conversational interfaces. There are a lot of forms that employees need to fill up or candidates need to fill up. All this information gathering, collating is where we are deploying intelligent automation.
Thank you, Rinoo. I think a lot of people in the call would like to see that in action, right? And definitely one of the biggest challenges for a lot of leadership. So, let me, Anil, you talked about the top-down approach, right? And if you can elaborate, I know you talked a lot about why it is important rather than a bottom-up approach. Right? And many customers might have initiated this journey, right? How do they sustain this, ensure that this program succeeds and delivers that ROI, right? How they should stay at it, how should they run the governance, how should they sponsor this kind of an initiative to make it successful for them? And maybe a little bit more thoughts around this would be helpful.
Yeah, so, again, a great question, Mohan. Thank you for asking. As I mentioned, there have been two approaches that we've seen. One, the tactical bottoms up, where, as I mentioned, people get stuck at a certain level. You start with a few automations and a few departments, and it really doesn't go anywhere. Not for any other reason, it's because we don't have the executive sponsorship or buy-in, right? So it's always good to understand what is the executive, the vision around that when we look at intelligent automation or automation. What is the executive vision? Where do they see the enterprise? What is the expectation? And we need to make sure that we are mapping our journey to that expectation, right? So having executive sponsorship at the highest levels, ideally the board level, I think is a very good starting point. And that's already working. We've seen that. What does that do? It allows, therefore, for the functions and the leaders who head different functions to then establish a yearly automation goal, saying that, okay, this is the automation goal that I carry for my function that I have to achieve, right? We are talking of tangible business outcomes now. The next step is obviously then to plan and budget for these resources, right? You just can't have a good plan but no budget and no resources. So we need to make sure that we are looking at planning for that and having the right budgetary allocations for resources or anything else. The next step is then to form a center of excellence, right? And we can bring in and, like I said, by each function, crowdsource ideas so that we kind of make this as a annual, churn. This is like a machine that keeps on spitting out ideas of automation, right? Some which are really out of the box, which others have deployed, some discovering through AI, looking at, areas which we would have not thought of. So it's really about building a center of excellence and then making sure that we kind of create yearly goals on automation by each function, right? Which is to provide business leads the authority to say, okay, this is the business outcome and the value realization that I expect. That needs to be tied to people like us and Conneqt, saying that, great, tell me the value that you will deliver at the end and what is the business outcome will you deliver at the end. I think that conversation tying to the technology spend is critical. It's only when you have all of this that will give you the right kind of results. And it's a journey. This is not going to happen overnight. All right. We have to kind of think this in terms of an end-to-end journey. And so you really need people and partners who have the vision, who have the capability, who have the skill sets, right? Because you start a journey, you can't then end it, midway. So having top-level sponsorship, making sure there is clear executive vision, making sure that you have a clear plan by each function, yearly goals to attain from an automation standpoint, the right budgets, and then the right success metrics tied to business outcomes. That's the only way more.
Thanks, Anil. I think that's extremely critical for a success of these kind of programs. So Nitin, I see you responded in the chat to one of the customer query, but for the benefit of a larger participant, there was a question around how different is a need for automation while some of these processes are handled by CRM applications, right? So very important question. It is important for all to understand this critical difference and why automation is that bridging element of all this for our customers, right? So if you can just throw a bit
Yeah.
more light on that.
Right. Yeah. So I think, see, in a real world scenario, right, APIs would have solved all our problems. But then we don't live in a real world. So I think that's, see, one of the main reasons. So whether it is a CRM platform or whether it is, some of the other applications, some of the challenges that they don't really integrate well, with the other application. Now, since we are talking, today's session is focused on banking. Coming from a bank, I can tell the application ecosystem in a typical bank is very, very complex, right? A typical mid-sized bank uses somewhere between 300 to 500 applications, right? That's on the on the lower side, actually. Now, to manage such a vast ecosystem of applications and managing integration between all of these applications, a CRM system can't do it alone, right? So which is why you will see one of the biggest reasons why some of the largest banks across the globe and in India are using automation or are using UiPath is the best in class integration capabilities we bring on the table, right? So today you can use UiPath robots to integrate with legacy applications. It could be IBM mainframe applications. It could be desktop based applications. It could be web based applications, right? We can actually also do API based integrations as well. So it's not that UiPath is only being used for UI based integration. So even for creating APIs, you can see that creating API based integration is also much more easier using UiPath. So that's one, right? Second is, I think when we talk about the whole banking ecosystem, it is still very, very heavily dependent on documents. So, and again, we are moving slowly toward digital documents, but still the documents become an important piece in any banking digital journey. Now, I mean, any of you who know banks know, while individual customer journeys might still be little simpler, when we start going ahead and seeing business customer journeys, wholesale customer journeys, treasury customer journeys, they are much more complex. They involve much more complex document sets, and again, getting data from each of these documents is a very, very tedious job, right? I was talking to an Indian NBFC a few days back, and they have a almost a 60-page agreement, right? And then for their auditors to work through one agreement, it takes them like 4 to 5 hours, and their only ask from us was, can you extract 15 different fields from this 50-page document? And that was saving them almost 3 to 4 hours, right? So which is why you see intelligent document processing or robots are gaining more prominence, primarily because managing data is a very, very important piece, and we are able to help our customers in managing that data coming from different sources. It could be from applications, it could be from structured or unstructured documents, or it could be from any other portals, right? So that's the capability we bring on the table, and which is why you will see we are being leveraged on top of the applications which are already there in a very, very agnostic way. So we don't want the banks to change their underlying applications, and at the same time we still integrate and get all the required data and manage the flow of data across those applications.
Absolutely. Great examples, Nitin. If I have to rephrase what you said, the number of applications, right? At Conneqt, we handle maybe around 70 plus banking customers. And we go through all these different applications, the 300 to 500 applications, switching between applications, getting the data together, right? And handling our customer conversations. Definitely. I think these are great examples and why it is very relevant, why automation is very relevant, right? So I think we have a few minutes left. Maybe I can wrap up with a final question. Arjun, you talked about this Center of Excellence, right? RACE, very, very good acronym, RACE to automation, right? And I know there's a lot of investments going into this in terms of people, in terms of dollars, in terms of systems, the labs that is being set up. Maybe if you can share a couple of minutes about why the Center of Excellence is critical to the success, right? Why not just set up having a bunch of people help individual customers? Why there's a need for such a large establishment to support each of the engagements we have with our customers?
I think the important reason is this needs to be a sustainable program, Mohan, right? This needs to be sustainable. We will need to be proactive. we will need to be constantly leading the charge in how this can make a difference to our customers, correct? If we need to do all of that, we will need to be a couple of steps ahead, correct? And that means looking at the best practices, working closely with UiPath to understand what is their learnings from other engagements and their global experience. How do we make sure we are training all our people on an ongoing basis? How do we looking at this focus of not just operations, but looking at it from solutions from our own perspective, because that is a key change we are wanting to make, is how do we move up from business operations to business solutions. So if you need to look at business solutions, we need to start identifying opportunities for automation for our customers. If you need to do it on a sustainable mechanism, a sustainable basis, we need a platform and a center to be able to get all of this together, correct? Now we need to build our own tools. We need to build our own accelerators when we are working with customers to help make this a success. So if you need to do all of this, again, there needs to be a vehicle where all of this is coming together. And more importantly, we need to be very proactive in how we are driving this engagement with all our customers. Because I think the reality is when we work with many of our customers, they will also be needing help about how do we make it sustainable, how do we make it scalable, correct? So having this center of excellence in a manner that is going to be invested from our side is going to be important, Mohan, to be able to get the true benefits. And I think we are very conscious that to meet our purpose of helping our customers grow revenues, enable efficiencies, and enhance experience, we need to look at this from a strategic dimension, right? And hence, it is this center of excellence which will provide us the vehicle to make sure it is strategic, so we can continue to make sure that we add value to our customers more. And that's the reason why this is important.
Thank you. Thanks, Arjun. Great to know. And the investments being made by Conneqt. And I think time is up. I would like to wrap up this event. Special thanks to all the panel, the speakers, Arjun, Anil, Rinoo, and Nitin. And thanks to our customers, right? I see a overwhelming participation. I see more than 100 participants. And we have also received mailers from some of our customers stating they could not join us today, but would like to hear from us some other time slot, which we'll be very happy to do. So as I wrap this, my request to the participants, to the customers is please keep sharing your questions. We could not cover all of your questions, but we'll be very happy to share a more detailed response to each of you, your questions, and we'll publish this all across to you. And very happy to engage with you. If you have some immediate interest, you want to like to hear more from us, specific use cases, you want us to run a workshop with you or run a proof of concept, we'll be very happy to do that. Please reach out to us on email, and we'll share those information with each of you in our invites. And thanks for your participation. Really a wonderful event to have and to host along with our partner UiPath, and the strategic partnership that we are signing today. A very auspicious beginning for us as we shape up the automation journey for our customers in India. Really appreciate participation from all of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Well, thank you.
Thanks. Look forward to working closely.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.